President Congress. It is an honour and a privilege as Chair of the STUC Women's Committee to address the 124th Annual STUC Congress. Trade unionism is in my blood, and I have been a proud GMB member for 43 years, and as a woman, one of the few conveners in the whisky industry for 36 years. As a woman, I was born into a trade union family, and my dad, Sammy Barr, was one of the leading legends of the UCS working in 1971. This year marks 50 years since that remarkable UCS working and victory for the working class heroes. I grew up watching my dad organise workers and fight for working people's rights. He played a big part in my life as a trade unionist, and I took much inspiration from him and his colleagues. My dad influenced my politics, but it was my mum who inspired me to always fight for equality for women. She always told me that women have an equal role to play in society and the workplace, and she gave me the confidence to hold my head up high and always demand better for women. We all know that many of the things women enjoy in work today did not come out of thin air. Things like maternity pay, sick pay, the Equality Act, and childcare policies, and more recently, free period products for all girls in Scotland. These things for women were not just gifted by employers and governments, they were fought for. The workplace policies and laws that has made the world a bit better for women have been won through struggles and a lot of arguments and demands and workers' organisation together. I have been involved in many battles for women's equality in the time as a convener and a trade unionist. But I have to say that one of my favourite wins that backfired to the men in the workplace. The men in the workplace were given 2 free drams of whisky a day, whilst the women got nothing. And as a wee lassie from John Chapel, this was an injustice that I was not going to let go. And a fight I was determined to win. We united and protested. We demanded 3 bottles a year to match the free drams that the men got. And for 2 days, we stood up in the queue for our wee dram and refused to move. We did not give in until the management listened to us and our demands, and our male colleagues eventually supported us, and we won 3 bottles of whisky a year for all. So some of the men were raging as they had lost their free drams. What a pity. But we have a long way to go and many battles to win ahead. COVID has highlighted the deep inequalities that women still face, and it has shown that our economy and workplaces do not work for women. Women, especially working class women, have been hardest hit by the impact of COVID. The pandemic has not only been classist, it's been sexist. It has been the women who have kept our society moving during the pandemic. It has been the women who have been more likely to lose their jobs or trapped in the cycle of low wages and insecure work. It is the women who have taken on more caring responsibilities. And it is the women as far more likely to be hard to sit by austerity and be living in poverty. Without bold action, the progress on women's equality at work and to society is a threat post-pandemic. COVID-19 has exposed many inequalities that face, but it has also shown us how important trade unions are. And it is fantastic to see more women take up leadership roles within the trade union movement. Women don't just need unions more than ever. Unions need women more than ever. But I am proud to be a woman and have the opportunity to be part of the STUC Women's Committee. The past year, it has been tough for all of us in lots of ways. But despite all the challenges, women across our movement have continued to organise, campaign, negotiate and win for our members and defend their members' interests and fight to ensure that voices of women are heard. From unsafe streets to unequal pay, there are so many issues facing women in Scotland and around the world right now. It has felt impossible for the STUC committee to narrow our work plan and our campaign priorities down. Throughout the year, we have held many events and been involved in campaigning and lobbying on a wide range of issues. One issue that has kept coming up is women in poverty, and we have decided to focus our priorities on that. The level of poverty in Scotland are a disgrace, and COVID has made poverty even more for women and children. It is a symbol of shame that one of the richest nations in the world, we have people going to food banks and depending on charities. Thousands of working people are living below the poverty line in Scotland every day. 1 in 5 working people in Scotland are living in poverty. 65% of children in poverty live in a household where someone works. Work is not the root of poverty if work does not pay. The STUC Women's Committee have a history of campaigning for free school meals and ending poverty in Scotland. And I am proud to say that we have relaunched a campaign to expand free school meals for all nurseries, primary and secondary pupils. We have been campaigning and writing to politicians. We have the backing of organisations, including the Children's Youth Parliament and many poverty experts. We have the backing of mostly all the trade unions and the support of hundreds of parents, communities and the education workforce. The government's own poverty advisors even support our call. Why don't they? Schools alone will never solve poverty or close the poverty-related attainment gap. But our call is to expand free school meals to all and has the potential to help thousands of families living below the poverty line. who are not entitled to free school meals, and to help tackle child poverty. It will help to end the stigma and the shame built in our communities. Congress, I could go on for days, but I want to close by saying this. People are calling for a return to normal. Normal was not working for women or our young people. Whatever our COVID-19 recovery looks like, women and equality must be at the centre. We must continue to make sure that the voices of trade unions and women are at the negotiation decision-making tables. They don't call it a struggle for nothing. There is a big battle to be won ahead for women and girls, and it should be a collective mission to keep fighting for more equal world at work and a safer society for all women and girls. I know I would not be the strong and resilient woman I am today if it wasn't for a trade union. Please support, invest and mentor the women and the girls in your life, workplaces and unions, and stand by us. It has been a privilege to chair the STUC Women's Committee during these uncertain and challenging times, and alongside our STC colleagues in our call for greater equality and a safer world. I wish all the delegates to have a successful Congress and look forward to working with our incoming President and General Counsel in the fight for equality. Thank you once again, and solidarity.